little bugger. This is the same valve we had problems when we first bought this thing in 2019. Well, we still have the original valve yet. We swapped them with the, because this is for the right-hand master. And what we did, we switched it with the left-hand master because the right-hand one seems to control more of the tilt. Really is what it was. And swapping those two valves around until we got a new one, it's kind of solved some of our problems where we could actually use this machine. It would work halfway decent. So we got the new one in, we put a new one in then. And now, yeah, same thing. Yeah, I just don't remember if because we swapped them around, then we ended up, of course, the bad one was in the left-hand master, then the bad valve and whatnot, so. But maybe, double check. Oh, that is the one. Yeah, I was reading it wrong. Yeah, I was right. That is the. As you can see where we replaced it, but that was the one we swapped it with till we got a new one. Then we just swapped it. So that's actually the new one in there. Let my brother know that. I forgot that we did that. So this is probably an OEM one. It makes sense because there's other numbers on here like that. The original one was like a 1295 or something like that, stamped on the side. This is a 1304 on here, so I don't know if that's a serial number or whatever the heck you want to call it. But yeah, so this one's probably still the OEM one yet. Not supposed to make that noise. So broke spring in here. I just wonder what I should do. Like I say, I don't really need the tilt cylinder much for crimping. I really don't. I kind of have the skid shoe set low, which is good that I have it tilted back most of the time because it gets more on the skid shoes then, so more evenly. But most part, I don't need the tilt for the crimper, but for the swather head, the draper head, yeah, you need tilt. You need tilt, or else it's a piece of, it's difficult. So, plus then for hooking up and unhooking, you need a tilt cylinder work or else it's a bugger. Ask me how I know. Still not happy with the dealership we bought it from out of Canada. Still not happy with them. Just, they sold us a non-functioning machine. The only thing you can do is drive it. The only thing you can practically do with it. It's hard to do anything with it. Sucks because, I pulled the tilt valve out first. Looked at the seals. Seals look good. I'm just like, so, huh. But apparently these swathers are notorious for blowing those seals out at the end and that backing ring. And I guess they're also notorious for just valves going bad, I guess. So I just say this, and in my review video too of this machine, if you're having any sort of wonky hydraulic issues, this is your starting point. You got to figure out what's not working properly. Look in the book to see what solenoid and valve does what, how it correlates with everything, what's all tied in together, and you start with there. No, I'll let it go for now. That's why I'm just wondering if I should swap the two valves around. But problem is, if it's worried about these O-rings then too. If I need the tilt someday, if we can't get a valve anytime soon, yeah, I'll have to swap two of them around, the two around then. So not that hard to do. It's just a little bit of an oil mess. That's about it. You got to deal with. So yeah, there's another thing too it says in the book too, but the tilt valve, if you're having problems, you got to disassemble stuff, especially if you have to take this out. This thing always has pressure on it, so you got to try to have a plan of action to be able to get that out, to get that relaxed, bled somehow. When we have to unhook this header and hook up the draper head and vice versa, the tilt cylinder needs to be able to function because, well, you need to be able to move that tilt cylinder in and out when you got to hook up the header. Makes it far easier, so that's why this thing always keeps pressure, even though if everything else is bled down. So you got to kind of plan for that course of action to ever have to remove that. Let it set for overnight then, and came back then here, the tilt cylinder's all the way in then, when it's, at least with this head, how it sits, it wanted to be tilted in all the way. So I figured, well, there's probably not much pressure on. There was a tiny bit, wasn't a whole lot, a couple air bubbles I could tell when I slowly started turning the valve out. start hearing a little hissing then. So, but I had a piece of cardboard here and had a rag on my hand, heavy rag on my hand while I was turning out. It really wasn't a whole lot of pressure. There's just a little bit left yet. So, but so it didn't really spray or anything. Just let it kind of turn it out to where it started hissing, and then I quit. Then just kind of jiggling a little bit and make sure there's no pressure, and then popped that. Of course, I locked the back axle too, so it couldn't collapse down all the way. So when you relieve all this pressure, that head is going to be full weight on the ground, so that'll collapse the back end. So put the locks in both sides, so keeps the machine level, and then it's easier to bleed that tilt cylinder out. So we're got to work on these blocks. That's just something to make note of. So, and also with your reservoir here, see, this is the time to check your reservoir. When you have it completely bled down, that's where you can kind of see. See, right now it's pretty good. I could actually add in a little bit of oil now. So, because if you have everything charged, primed up, it usually sits around here, around this level here. So I usually, when everything's charged, I usually don't like to go more than halfway on the sight glass here when everything's charged up. The accumulators are fully charged on it. So, because like I say, if you ever have to bleed the system down and you have it too full, guess what? You're gonna. So, something to make note of. I need to do an updated review on this thing too. You know, after getting things fixed on it over these course of couple years you had it. Plus with the Haybein head on it here too. You know, another head on it. Should do an updated review on this thing, but well, I guess for that known issue now on these things now, so that's gonna be one ding against them. But that pulse rate error that I had, actually the error we had when we first had it too, where like nothing would freaking work. There's these little wires here, come for the alternator here. There's I think this is a fuse in here actually, but there's like little wires that are connected, you know, with the alternator here. Basically on the H8040 here, I don't know about the 60 or the 80, but on this particular model, it doesn't actually have a engine tachometer. It gets the engine's RPM reading based on this thing. Like they call it, I think it's called like a pulse rate or something like that, but that's how it reads the RPMs on the engine. But I know on this machine, like the RPMs readings kind of sometimes bounce around a lot. Like they get, like you can't even read it. The only thing I read then is the sickle speed. So I kind of know how fast the engine's running then, but plus just running it too, you kind of know the resonance, the sound, you kind of know what RPM it's at. But you know, we had to fix those wires, and even then now, like, you know, if it's like it was showing 0 RPM on the monitor, and then after a while it gave me then I noticed my controls for like the header lift and everything were just slow to respond. Like I'd press it, nothing would happen until for like 2 seconds, then it finally moved then. And then I started getting abnormal pulse rate errors then. So what I did then, I shut the machine off, let it sit. Of course I got my batteries, flip my battery isolator off, and then I kind of wiggle on these wires a little bit on the connectors and tug a little bit and just push a little bit, wiggle. Everything seemed tight. And I flip back, I start up. Oh, everything's okay. RPM gauge is holding solid where it should be. So I don't know, just something with those wires, something must be just slightly not right. So, but it's done that to me once before too, even after we fixed it randomly. So, but it's just kind of just playing with those wires a little bit, all of a sudden it seems hunky-dory then. And plus with the draper head too, was giving some problems too on the valves there for the knife and the reel, having excessive hydraulic pressure leakage, whatever you want to call it, causing higher hydraulic temps. And so, but yeah, eventually I'll do an updated review on this thing. But I gotta point something out here. I just have to. They put a frickin' yield sign up here at this intersection. We've never had a yield sign here, ever. Why? Apparently they got money for this. That's not important. That's not important. God, that's stupid. Well, just another thing to to mow around fall of the year. Weave with the headers around. I don't know. This intersection right here, why? Nothing comes from the east because that's underwater over there. And yeah, why? It's mainly us that use this road. There's a mail route. A couple other neighbors use it, but it's about like these warning labels too on everything, you know? I mean, it's there to cover for lawsuits, you know, against companies. But you think those warning labels stop from stupid people from doing stupid things? Probably not. I mean, it's literal common sense there for me to yield because the main road goes this way. So whenever I see a vehicle come, I always stop. It's a given that yield side. You don't need a yield side there. It's the uncommon common sense. Yeah. There's some beehives over here. Half mile that way. There's a little bit of alfalfa grass, the grass you mow there every single year. All my years of haying that. I've never been swarmed by bees before, but it's a little scary. I don't know, I think the beehive company was here today. I saw they were there by our yard and clusters there, and they must have been here today too. They were pissed. Holy smokes! They got stung 4 or 5 times. Long years of doing this, I never got stung once. I got stung 4 or 5 times now. Had Dad bring me out some Benadryl. I'm not allergic to bees, but I can feel my whole face here, like right around here and around here, burning it. I don't know. I didn't get cut everything I wanted to get cut, just couldn't do it. I got swarmed twice. Yeah, I'm gonna feel great the rest of the day right here. Yeah, this here feels cold. The sucker's hot. So I'm not. Dad's definitely allergic to bees. That's why I usually cut this over here. But yeah, it's kind of scary when you start getting swarmed by bees. It's a little scary. You know, the shit hurts. I don't want to kill them because honeybees, they're not aggressive by nature. They aren't. It's just only when they get provoked. And when I'm that close to a hive cluster too, you know, it don't take long. You'll have a swarm of bees on you. It don't take much.